Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday or another weekend. It's currently still Thursday for me. Not actually at the thrift store this time. I went there yesterday, but I didn't have a lot of time because they were supposed to deliver a package, and I wanted to be back on time to accept the package from the post person. But they already dropped it off by the time that I got back, and so I hurried home, and so I couldn't record in the car. So I decided to do that some other time when I have more time anyway. And if you hear some noise in the background, the neighborhood kid downstairs is having fun. I don't really know how they do that, but it's always very noisy up there. And they're jumping around and screaming, so that's just how they entertain themselves, I guess. Anyway, so this week nothing much of interest has happened. I did go to my dad. I actually just came back from going to my dad to drop off that beret that I found last time. And yesterday during the thrifting thing, by the way, I didn't really find anything too interesting that I would really need to put in a video necessarily. Just some extra clothes, and what else did I get? Nothing much of interest. Anyway, so fun stuff, but nothing really worth making a video. But anyway, so I went to see my dad, and it's one of those things like he's currently living by himself, sorta, kinda. He has help and stuff like that to make sure that he takes his medication and everything. Somebody actually comes over and watches him take the medication, so that is good that they actually do that. And he used to have a service where they would bring him food, but apparently his girlfriend did not appreciate that food, and also he wasn't a big fan of it himself either because there was no instructions on it. And I think they're supposed to deliver those warm, but they apparently weren't warm, so could you put it in a microwave or the oven or anything like that? There were no instructions, so he's not super happy with the quality either. And I think they're going to quit that, but other than that, he was doing okay. They're going to get him some extra help around the household as well, and so that is something that needs to be arranged still. Furthermore, he was talking about how he might move in with his girlfriend at some point, or at least go there every day. Like they're going to arrange some type of taxi service for him, and then that person or that taxi is going to bring him over to her place and then take him back at the end of the day every day. Unless she really didn't want to hang out with him that day because they can barely stand to spend 3 days together. I believe that's the impression I'm getting because she tends to get annoyed with him quite a lot, and she keeps complaining that he doesn't do anything. All he does is watch TV, sit on the couch, and be stubborn, I guess. But that's just my dad, so you know what you're getting pretty much straight away from the get-go because that's all he does these days. He used to be more active, although I do remember him as a kid. When he was home, he would spend most of his time sitting on the couch, either watching TV or reading newspaper, so he's always had that part. But just, of course, back in the day, he also had his job and his hobbies and other things that he would do, whatever he had to get him out of the house, and he doesn't have that anymore, so now it's just that. That's all he does. Anyway, so he was talking about how that might be an option, that he might go to her then every day if he gets this taxi thing, and also he was also going to be signed up for some taxi service that takes you like further than just the next town over, because most taxi services have like a radius in which they can take you places, and beyond that you have to do something else or maybe get another taxi service. I don't know, but there's another taxi service that could take them like to the beach or something, which is like I don't know, 50 to 100 kilometers away. I have no idea how far that is. And that they could use that to go have a beach day every once in a while, just to get out there and do some fun things, blah, blah, blah. So that's all going on. And sometime during the visit, she actually called him, and he was like, okay, did this and that person came over, because my uncle had apparently also been there just before I arrived. I didn't see him on the way out, but okay, apparently they had also visited. So she asked about his visit, how that was, whether he enjoyed it, or stuff like that. And then he said, oh, my daughter's here as well. And then she asked him to ask me why I had come to his place, which I really thought was a weird question. So I'm like, I'm just visiting, normal stuff. And then she told him that she thought I was a hypocrite. Now, I don't know why. And then she hung up. So that was like, I was anticipating that he would give me the phone, because every time that I'm near him and she's not, but she's on the phone, she's always like, oh, give her the phone, I want to talk to her. And then I keep having to listen to her blah, 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 and all that sort of thing, talking a lot of nonsense. But anyway, so she called me a hypocrite, and I think it's because she's been doing all of the arranging and stuff like that. not really involving us in any of that. She just kind of does it, and then she starts complaining about how other people weren't doing it for her afterwards. So that's always great. It's a great combination. So probably she thought like, oh, from her perspective anyway, like, oh, I've been doing all this stuff for him and I'm taking care of everything, blah, blah, blah. And then they just show up to have a visit and just sit there and enjoy all my hard work or something along those lines. I don't know. But it's not really that simple because she spent the last couple of years driving us apart, and now she's complaining that we're not closer. So that's interesting. That's how the abuser system works, I guess. Do something that makes people upset and then start complaining about the fact that they don't like you anymore all of a sudden. I don't know how that works. That's really strange. And also, my dad followed that up by saying, oh, yeah, she's been like kicking people out of her life from her family and stuff like that. So she's isolating herself. And then she had asked him, what are you going to do with your kids? As in, are you going to get rid of them maybe? Is it time to say goodbye to them? And he's like, I'm not going to do anything with my kids. And she didn't like that very much. So now she thinks I'm a hypocrite or whatever, which is fine. I've got her blocked on all my phones so she can try to call me and whatever as much as she likes. It won't bother me, but the problem, of course, will be when he actually does go there pretty much every day, because then we really don't know when to go there, when she will not be there, because if you call beforehand, like, hey, I'd like to come over on a Wednesday, guess who's going to be there on the couch? So that's always a bit of an issue, or will be a bit of an issue. That's something my uncle encountered as well, because he went there the first time. I think I talked about that last time when I was talking about this. Like, it's just... he had called because he has to travel a bit longer than us to get to his place, and my dad had told her, like, oh, he's coming over then and then. And then, of course, she was sitting there on the couch, and my uncle barely got to talk to his brother because she was constantly yapping away and talking a whole bunch of nonsense. So you can't really talk to him when she's there, and that's the main issue. If she just kind of sat there, she was kind of annoying every once in a while, but you could otherwise reasonably have a conversation. It would be tolerable, but she just talks on and on and on, and she keeps asking all these super personal questions and makes all sorts of assumptions and stuff like that. And my brother still goes there on like holidays, and he is really good at just shutting people out, like mentally. So he'll just sit there, have a couple of coffees, and which he then gets himself, because my dad's not that fast anymore. Matter of fact, I asked if I could have a coffee when he asked me what I wanted to drink just now, and he started making the coffee, but then like halfway through he just kind of forgot, I guess, and then he just came to sit down at the kitchen table, and I was like, okay, fine, we're not getting coffee. I didn't challenge him on that, because when somebody has dementia, it's like a really bad idea to constantly point out the things that they're doing wrong, which is really hurting their mental state. You just kind of need to talk along with them, and don't ask them about things that you don't think they know, or ask them about recent events or stuff like that, something that they might not know, because then they have a sense of failure, and that really hurts their sense of being and all that sort of thing, sense of well-being. And that is exactly what she always does, because she keeps telling him that he's old and sick, and that he's doing this wrong and he's doing that wrong. And for instance, my dad was talking earlier about how she has these, they're almost like styrofoam slats or something up against the wall. I'm not really sure how to explain that, but some type of paneling. And sometimes he would go and get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, but he would find himself to be unstable on his feet. So he would try to grab something like a door or something to stabilize himself. But of course, if it's like something made out of styrofoam or some other weird type of soft material, you're easily going to grab like a piece of that, and then a chip comes off or something. And instead of just like trying to make it so that he can stabilize himself at night, she starts complaining about how he's wrecking things, because that's something that is his fault entirely, of course. Anyway, so that was a great visit. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future. Other than that, nothing much is going on here. My own personal life, just doing my thing. It's spring now, so the temperature is going up. I'm starting to do stuff outside again. I've got a few things planted in a little planter box. I planted a few peas. I planted a few potatoes, very few, just a couple. And what else did I put in there? I think tomatoes went in there, and I planted a couple of pumpkin seeds. Now I don't know if the tomatoes are going to do anything because the tomato seeds that I got are from store-bought tomatoes, and very often they don't take. Like the tomatoes in the store do not have seeds that will actually grow a plant, so probably that one won't come up. But I'm hoping that the pumpkin will, and I think the beans and the potatoes definitely will. Potatoes came up during the winter even, so I'm pretty sure potatoes will do fine. And we'll just have to grab a few. I think we're going to keep finding small potatoes throughout the entire planter box for however long I keep it, so they just keep propagating themselves. And that's it, really. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Make sure to stay healthy, stay safe. On Tuesday, we'll be back on Stardew Valley, of course. Hope to see you then. In any case, thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.